And the shtick just
Oh.
keeps continuing. What a schmuck.
Oh,
Welcome
goodness.
back to another cheesy edition of Disinformed After Dark, where we break all the rules. I'm Shane.
I'm John.
And I'm Michael.
Now, who's gonna curse first?
Not me.
Famous last words there, Johnny.
I like that. I like that
my
better.
darndest.
Instead of trying not to curse, it's like who curses first. It's almost like a pool or something, like a betting pool or something.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yes,
sure.
yes, the stagnant pool
I've-
of urine, like we just talked about this week in a glorious episode.
One might
I
argue
didn't
that
say
could
it before.
demonetize us.
Fair. I didn't say it before, but I actually filled this drink with just my urine because I figured I was just going to try it out.
So this week is
because
different
it's-
from any other week. How?
This is fresh. This isn't canned.
not
I know
aged.
it's a little hard. It's hard to say. It's hard to see it because it's in a can. But I filled the can because I decided what not. But it's usually
Also,
canned.
yeah, it's sterile and he likes the taste.
It's bubbly.
Is it sterile?
Is it?
Is
I
it?
think that's BS.
Well, you'll learn if you checked out this week's episode.
I'm so corny.
You're not telling us something we don't already know, my friend. So,
True.
for those who are uninitiated, this is a video companion podcast to our weekly podcast that is, that escapes from our preferred podcast provider apps every single week. So you can track that here. There's a little link tree down below that you can click on in order to gain access. So please go check us out there if you haven't already. But presumably you are here because of that podcast. Here's hoping.
I sure hope so.
What we do every week here is we go into one of Chuck Klosterman's famed hypotheticals whilst we wait for our shows to upload. And for me, I will see you all in 2 months when mine finally makes it onto the server because Google hates me, apparently.
So you're looking at and you're seeing that this is literally thousands of hours of material. And I don't know how we're going to get past it, but we're going to try. We're going to try.
We're going to give it the old college try, which means that we're not going to read anything and we're going to hope to do harm to everyone in our general blast radius.
So I'm leaving chat right now.
So, are you ready, gentlemen?
Oh, I could have a Klosterman.
You could have a colonic.
I could have a.
I got a high
Colonic
colonic last week.
Yeah, that's fair. I could have a colonic. I haven't done that in a while.
I could have a
Waiter.
Klonopin.
3 colonics. Should have done the German 3.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yes. All right. So this week's glorious hypothetical, which I have not vetted, we have now gone into terrain that I have not encountered. So this is going to be
Scared.
new for all involved parties. We have Homeless Boulevard.
I feel like this is going to be problematic somehow.
It's us. It can't help but be.
True.
You encounter a boulevard filled
With broken dreams.
teeming with homeless people, human waste, and dried blood. There are at least 50 people lying in the street, men, women, and teenagers. It's the middle of summer, and none of them have bathed in weeks. A few are crackheads. Most are intoxicated. A handful are mentally insane. All are hungry and desperate. Suddenly, you are granted an incredible capability. If you have unprotected intercourse with any one of these individuals, right then and there, immediately on the sidewalk, in public, you will end worldwide homelessness forever. You can cure this problem at the root, as a matter of stern fact.
Okay.
Within 5 years, no one will ever be homeless again, and everyone will know it was because of your selflessness. However, if you elect not to do this, no one will ever know you had this opportunity. You will not be held accountable for choosing to do nothing.
Oh.
Do you do this? You can select the homeless person that you will have sex with.
Oh,
That's an important caveat.
that is. I feel like that would have been question number 1.
I think the more appropriate question is, would the homeless person be willing to have sex with you?
Oh.
Because in
this turns into a very awkward question because I don't think anyone would.
it's the old Back to the Future line. I don't think I could handle that kind of rejection.
You said there's 50 candidates?
Yes, there are 50 people lying in the street. And there are individuals, both male, female, and teenagers.
Okay, well, we're going to take the teenagers off the table.
I realized because when you had mentioned that and you said teenagers, I was like, usually people say men, women, and children. But then you explained the whole thing, and then I was like, wait, I'm glad he said teenagers. In the great state of Alabama, I mean, age of consent varies from manifestation to manifestation. So,
oh my God,
what do you mean, what do you mean by manifestation? Like manifestation of a desire or something? Like, because this is treading territory I don't want to go into.
Depending upon which cousin is at the reunion, Michael, I may have to adjust the legal limit.
Fair enough. Roll Tide.
There we go.
Oh, it's kind of funny because I'm wearing like a reddish
no one wants to know.
Crimson. I'm wearing a crimson shirt. So.
Well played. All right.
Is it the dried blood of the homeless individual you've decided to consummate your marriage with?
They never said that they were covered in blood. They said that the street was covered in dried blood.
Well, where did the blood come from?
Christ?
Sure. It's wine now.
All right.
That's why they're all intoxicated. Anyway.
John, would you like to take the initial foray this week?
Oh, man. Well, as I have been wont to say, it hasn't fallen off yet, so I should be okay. I've done not worse, but almost as bad. I would do it. I mean, if it means it, like, think about it right now. Like, you were describing that scene and it sounded like Skid Row to me.
Uh-huh.
Like how No. Anybody that talks about LA or anybody who's seen that kind of thing happening can attest like just how just horrific it is. So it's like one of those take one for the team to end the problem. I'm there. It's like if someone told me that I would have to do like unspeakable savage acts sexually, like have them done to me to end COVID. Like at a certain point, you would just lay down and just let the world plug at whatever they needed to plug at if it meant that there was the cure. So
tag for the vid. Yes,
exactly.
That's what we're here for. All right. I can appreciate that. Michael.
I almost want to try to be contrarian, but I can't think of a good actual substantial argument to give for why I would say no. Like, I mean, like when you think about it, you're getting so many people that are off the streets into ways that they can, be beneficial to, like more beneficial than they ever could being on the streets to society. And you're solving a big problem. Like, I don't understand how anyone could try justifying saying no to it. Like, I'm going to actually complain a little bit about this question, just a tad, because a lot of the other questions are pretty like one or the other. Like, that's more of a flavor. Like, it depends on who you are as a person. But this one it seems, at least to me, very one-sided.
Well, if we're to believe Mr. Klosterman, that just means you're not interesting enough to answer that question in a substantive way.
Oh, no, I would definitely take one for the team. I mean, honestly, even if you didn't give me the caveat that I had to choose, I would just be like, yeah.
Well, I think what Shane is saying is that maybe he has,
Allow me to spice up the conversation a little bit by saying, again, as I postulated previously, who is to say that you are not going to walk up to a random hobi, attempt to proposition them into engaging in intercourse with you in full view of the rest of the downtrodden public, and they're going to accept you? I mean, you're assuming. So now the secondary.
Oh, I didn't say it was gonna.
Let me finish. the secondary
Sorry.
aspect of this, I try to let you finish, and then I don't have to wait long. In general, if the idea then becomes, are you going to force yourself on someone in an attempt to try to save humanity? And how many random crazed lunatics have then tried to claim this? So, I mean, there's a hiccup here that we're not really thinking about and saying like, yeah, sure, I'd be willing, but is the other person willing? And how are you going to explain yourself of, listen, I know this is going to sound weird. You and me got to do the dirty right now, and then none of this will exist any longer.
Come with me if you want to live.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. I applaud that.
But okay, no, all right. That's a fair point. Like, I like that. That's a little bit more expansion onto it instead of just like it's assumed that you immediately like the only thing that's separating everyone from no homelessness is just you saying yes.
Listen, what we're saying is the spirit is willing, but the pitch may be weak.
Yes.
So...
in that case, I would try, and I would most certainly fail because I have no game whatsoever. So
you just use the mystery method.
Oh yes.
Just peacock down the street with a bunch of individuals who are derelict and destitute and just waiting for death's clumsy hammer.
He's trying to stab, not be stabbed. Yeah.
Start nagging them. Is that your crack pipe? Because it looks like you could probably get a better one.
So you mess with meth, huh? Where'd your teeth go? I mean, you could look a lot better. I mean, you couldn't look much worse. I'll say that. You want to do this thing? You want to get down?
That's cute. I too roll flobby joints.
Oh, look at you trying to be human. You might want to wash some of the shame off of you before we get this started.
How many bottles of liquor did you go through? Few? I mean, someone's got to start somewhere.
But those are rookie numbers. I mean, you got to amp this thing up. So, I mean, as philanthropic as we may want to be, I think there is a different complexion to this altogether. And, I may be willing to attempt to engage somebody. But then let's also just get into the physics of this. And by that, I mean the physicality of attempting to engage someone in full view of other people who you do not know, who may or may not be judging every instant of this sort of entanglement. And then you've got to try to, 1, get past the performance anxiety, 2, get past the smell, which to me is going to be a big problem.
Yeah.
As documented from some of our previous offline conversations, John, you know that I may have some issues with someone who may not smell so splendid.
It is one of the senses that you value more.
I hope you're not talking about me.
I hate to tell you, Michael, but...
Oh, I bathe.
Okay.
Rarely.
So, I think as much as I would love to say that I would be willing... I also think I don't think I'd be able. I would probably attempt it, and I would wind up being just frustrated or embarrassed or imprisoned, and none of this would wind up. So I might, through no fault of my own, make my circumstances much worse in an attempt to try to make other people's circumstances better. And I'm not sure that's a positive.
You're all getting you're getting handcuffed and pulled away, and you're like, I just need to save the homeless. Just let me continue.
I just want to spread the word, and the word is peace.
If I don't finish, then I don't win.
It's the Clerks 2 moment. It's like, oh no, the cops gotta finish.
Someone say cake.
So yeah, I'm not entirely sure that I want to harangue this question as much as you indicated, Michael, just for it being a little.
No, that's fair.
Because there are levels to this, like an onion or a hobo smell. There are layers. So
or an ogre.
Yeah, I don't think I could do it. I honestly think, if I'm being completely candid here, I don't think I could pull it off. Pun intended.
Yeah, your altruism would be blocked by the outside factors that you've outlined.
Yes, I think that might be a difficult hill for me to climb.
Fair.
I got
Well,
it.
Now that we've ended on a down note, as I all too often do, I wind
I
up
love the-
apologizing in tears.
I love the Empire Strikes Back approach.
Yes. It'll end in tears, like it's this Mortal Coil album here. Well, was that sufficient for all involved parties here?
I think so. I feel satisfied. You always leave me satisfied and smiling.
Well, bless you. At least we're not in
Aw,
public.
that's all that matters.
At least
Or
you're not
covered
a
in
hobo.
dried blood. Yeah.
If I was a hobo, I would gladly let you spoon me.
Well,
Nothing else. Just spoon.
the only saving grace
Wow.
I would have in that scenario is that they would be used to being poked with a needle, so I might still be able to get them excited.
I mean, per the conversation that we had on the last audio episode, I mean, who's to say that maybe you're not filled with the cure?
Indeed.
True that.
And we can inject it into their muscles and hope to kind of assuage a little bit of it.
Well, then you're just going to make a big homeless community of Bruce Banner Hulks.
Well, if you do, you'll clean it up.
Please. Please.
Well, ladies and germaphobes, thank you as always for taking some time to enjoy a little absurdity with us. We're always tickled to have you here, and others are tickled to have us there, depending upon the circumstances. But woo! All right. For Ric Flair here, I think we're going to be able to sign off for this week's glorious edition of Disinformed After Dark. This one is known as Kenton Eldorado.
This one is known as Timothy Lone Cactus.
And this one is known as Robert Greer.
Peener Greer.
No.
Peener.
No. Stop.
That's
Please.
also what most people say to Peener Greer.
That's what everyone says to that person who I am not.
Well, when all else fails, go to jail. Thanks for being here, kids. We'll talk to you soon.